Legendary.
Welcome to another video.
Fellow humans.
Today I will try to give you a complete guide to Zephyrus the Great. We can all agree that Zephyrus is indeed great, but if you really want to see him do great things more often than not, then this video should really help you. There are a lot of things you need to know to play this card perfectly, so if this video helps you, a like and a subscribe would really be appreciated. Now let's get into it. I know I'm a little late for the party, and a lot of big YouTubers have already made videos about Zephyrus, but I am yet to see anyone show all of the cards you can expect from Zephyrus, as well as his favorite board clears, single target removals, lethals, minions, and so on. First, let's get some basic and some more advanced information out of the way. As you probably know by now, even though I still see some people ask me on stream about it, Zephyrus will only give you cards from the classic and basic set. Two cards you shouldn't be expecting to see from those sets are Youthful Brewmaster and Shadow Step, because they can give you too much value and the team decided to cut them out. Also, Zephyrus works with the information that is available to both players. Both players' health, number of cards in your hand and in your deck, minions on the board, available mana, and total mana crystals. Don't expect him to know the cards in your hand and especially in your opponent's hand. In this regard, make sure to play the cards you want Zephyrus to know about before you play him, so he has the information needed to give you the card that you need. If you're looking for lethal, drop those burn spells from your hand and then play him and he will do the rest. Zephyrus does understand basic card text as well, like Death Rattle, Divine Shield, and after they patched him, Doomsayer as well. I'm not sure he understands Reborn though, since I've had games where I needed to remove a nasty Reborn minion and he didn't give me Hex or Silence for it. So drop a comment below if you have information about that, as well as if you find any inaccuracies in this video. On the other hand, he actually overvalues Death Rattles a little bit too much, and he might not give you a perfect board clear just because of a frickin' Mecharoo on the opponent's board. If you have a way to pop that Death Rattle, make sure to do so before you play Zephy, because he might get spook out of it and give you some random trash instead that can lose you the game. In the past, he didn't understand that Rush actually doesn't mean charge, and he did give out Savage Roars and Bloodlusts to boards that didn't really have lethal. I'm not really sure if they patched that or they didn't, but if the Rush dude on your board doesn't really matter too much for you, make sure to trade him off before you play Zephyrus, so you can actually find the card that you're looking for. For your Zephyrus to work the way you want him to work, you really need to guide him to the mana cost of the card you're looking for. Make sure to leave your mana as close as possible to that card. Also, make all of the decisions you can before you actually play him. Attack with your minions, drop cards, and do everything else you can that can guide him to the direction you're going for. Or you might end up with other options instead. He can also give you a card that you can play on curve on your next turn, so leaving yourself with 0 mana will hint to him that you want to do just that, or you will also get a 0 mana backstab or silence. Usually, he only gives you one answer per scenario, so for an example, you can get one card that deals with something on the board, one that heals you, and one that can be played on next turn for instance. When Zephyrus doesn't have an idea what he should give you, he usually gives you... Yep, you guessed it, Tyrion. And sometimes Ysera too. Also, don't forget that it's not a bad idea to drop Zephyrus as a tempo play on curve in some matchups. I know we all want to use him for a big board clear or a big finisher, but sometimes playing him on curve for that tempo is actually the right play, and you can win a lot of games like that. It really comes down to the matchup though, so think it over and make your choice. Now, let's start off with all the cards you can expect from Zephyrus. Note that these are not all of the basic and classic cards, but the ones we have actually seen Zephyrus give, or at least I think I've seen them. If you guys wish to download this picture and the other Zephyrus scenarios, feel free to drop by my Discord and you can find them there in high quality. As you can see, there are quite a lot of cards to choose from, so you really need to do everything you can to guide Zephy in the right direction. Now let's move down to the more specific scenarios. Probably the most important information you will ever need for Zephyrus is his lethal answers from hand, so here it is. You might notice that the cards like Abyss and Swipe are missing, but that is just because you can dish out the same or even more damage with the cards you are seeing in the picture, for fewer mana. The 0 mana sack pack is only there for the ones who actually fall into Zephy's trap and pick Jaraxxus. I didn't include Kill Command since we are talking about lethals, so the overload doesn't really matter. The Avenging Wrath needs to be on an empty board to be guaranteed, and for the Gorehowl there needs to be no taunt on the board. You will get Pyroblast only if your opponent is at 10 HP or lower, even if you can't play it that turn. If you really want that Pyro, best use Zephy with 0 or very little mana left. The second most important one would be your lethal outs with a big minion or a big board on. Inner Fire is quite situational, but if you manage to stick a big healthy minion on the board, you might end up dishing out a ton of damage for 1 mana, so it's definitely worth the mention. The others are pretty self-explanatory. Like I said, I'm not sure that Zephrys understands the difference between Rush and Charge, so he might end up giving you Bloodlust or Savage Roar when you, in fact, can't kill the opponent with your board, so be careful. Now, here's the list of all the single target removals you might expect, including the transforms and freezes here as well. Having this by your side when you're figuring out how to deal with an opponent minion should really help you guide Zephy to the right answer. On the board clear and control section, there are quite a few good options for really big boards as well as for not so big boards. I have to say, I'm not too sure if I ever seen Blade Flurry pop from Zephy, but then again, it has to be a really specific situation to work. I still think it's possible though. Keep in mind that he really likes Fan of Knives on 3 mana, so you need to do some work to convince him to drop that Lightning Storm instead. Like I said, he is really spooked by Death Rattles, so try popping those before you beg Zephy to drop the Thunder. If you're looking for Mass Dispel, again, you really need to have something really worth silencing, in Zephy's opinion. I did beg him for it against the Res Priest, but the bastard decided to give me random stuff instead, which lost me the game in the end. Here are the minions you can expect when you play him on an empty board with enough mana to play them or with exact mana to play them next turn. If you play Zephy on curve, you will always get Animal Companion, Wild Growth and Blightwing. If you, however, have a secret on, he will give you Eaglehorn instead of Blightwing most of the time. If you have a big hand, he will give you a Twilight Drake or even a Mountain Giant. Don't get baited to pick Jaraxxus, since if you are playing against another Highlander deck, you will get Sack Packed. If you're low on HP, here are the heals that you can expect. For the Sack Pack, you need to have an opponent demon obviously. If you need to heal and remove a minion with 5 HP, Holy Fire would be in your picks. If you have 7 mana left, however, Guardian of Kings would almost always be his choice, since he overvalues him a bit. Lay on Hands will be very hard to pull off for you. You need to be low on health with almost no cards and also have some board, or you will get Guardian instead. And lastly, here are the tech picks you might get. Flare is not that easy to get and he won't always give it to you, especially when there is only one secret against you. Sometimes he will even prefer Infiltrator even if the opponent has 2 or 3 secrets if I remember correctly. So make sure to leave 2 mana only if you really want it. MC Tech is almost always amongst your picks when the opponent has at least 4 minions. Do expect to see the Crazed Alchemist when you are facing a Doomsayer too. I think that about wraps it up, guys. This was quite the exhausting video to make, so I hope it really helps you understand Zephrys better. A like and a subscribe is always appreciated. Special thanks to Trim and Kazul for helping with this one. Thanks for watching, I'm Chris05 and I'll see you in my next video.